Greetings from Edgewater Park in Cleveland, Ohio. Today is Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. It's around 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time and about 32 degrees Fahrenheit. A little breezy, so especially since we're closer to the lake, the feels like it's probably in the low or mid to upper 20s. There's the intersection of Lake Avenue and West Boulevard. Today we're going to do a bike ride to downtown Cleveland from Edgewater Park. So it'll give you a little bit different perspective. A couple of years ago I did bike riding videos, but usually when I do them they're during the summertime. So this will give you some different scenery. The way the sun is, it's ahead of us, but it's not, I don't think it's going to be in the camera view. I think it's a little bit further to the southeast, and we're headed more directly east. I will take one brief detour since I'm here just to pop on over to the Cleveland script sign, which is just to our left. I don't think the pathway directly goes there, so I'm going to cut across the grass here. You know what? I think I lied about the sun. Now that I took one slight turn, the sun might be in our view as we're riding, but if that happens, we'll manage with it. At least at the start of this video, you're not completely blinded by a sunburst. The lake is not frozen right now. Always a beautiful shot. Anyone who's a visitor or tourist to downtown Cleveland or Cleveland for something, I mean, there's a few, if they're interested in taking like memorable shots or pictures of themselves there, this is one of those spots. I also like the Cleveland script sign that's behind the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Let's go ahead and carry on with our ride. And in advance, forgive me for the big sun. Taking this path initially because I think some of the trees will block out the sun a bit. As you approach the beach at Edgewater Park. There's two paths. They're like kind of right next to each other, but one is a very steep downhill drop. The other one is much more measured. I mean, it's still steep, but the incline is more gradual. So that's the one I prefer taking, especially on a bike. Walking, it doesn't matter so much. But of course, since cold temperatures, you're not going to see a ton of people here. Before I started the video, I did see a handful of joggers. We're seeing our first one right now. Let's see here. Yeah, actually, this is the steeper path in the... Just gotta backtrack just slightly. So I can go to the less steep one. Look out, Mr. Squirrel. This was what I was originally on before I detoured over to the Cleveland script sign. Alright, this is good. I think the sun has shifted a little bit, even though it's only been like a couple minutes. Sometimes when you get that time of day, the sun quickly gets out of picture. But the reason why this bike path is fun to do into downtown Cleveland is not only do you get to see the lakefront, you get to see the park, and then you see downtown Cleveland like right in front of you for a good portion, and there's a good mixture of scenery, as you'll see. Yeah, this one's more of the gradual incline I was referencing. Plus down there, it's often more sandy because it's right up against the beach. So I wasn't sure how slick the ground may be or muddy it would be. You didn't want to track that all over my tires if I didn't have to. Still got to get a little bit of sand on our tires over here. That should wear off as the ride goes on. So after we get to the little bit up ahead here, which is what I consider to be sort of the end of Edgewater Park, there's two options you could take. You could take one path that goes all the way down by Wendy Park, or you can cut up underneath this bridge up near West 65th Street. It's not far away at all, you'll see. But then you take the Lakefront bikeway along the shoreway. So that's the one we're going to be doing. So right here is where I'm going to stop and make a right-hand turn. And there's a stop sign there, so if there happen to be a lot of cars, you should be able to cross rather easily. So this mural here, it's interesting. I think they've reconfigured it because the bottom part used to go all the way there, but it was getting chipped in spots. So that's nice. It looks like they may have redone it, unless my memory's just faded. Just getting off to show the little bit of murals there. Plus I had stopped my momentum to show the first one. So if you went that way, that would be taking you right to Gordon Square. But continuing here will take you to the Lakefront bikeway. Make sure my camera's still working correctly. There's several options you can take via bicycle to get to downtown Cleveland if you're a West Sider. I've done another video in the morning a couple months ago showing the Red Line Greenway, which also starts near West 65th Street but is up closer to Lorraine Avenue. And that one goes by the RTA station, runs along the Red Line tracks. I also did a video once showing how you could ride from Franklin Avenue and take that most of the way down. It's not too heavily trafficked. And even the other roads, like you could take Lorraine Avenue or Detroit, there's just more cars there. All roads lead to one. All right, once we make this left turn here, this is sort of where you begin the final stretch of the Lakefront bikeway. I don't want to run into the dog walker, so good time for me to stop, and I'll probably grab a quick drink of water up top. This portion takes you to West 49th Street in Herman. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's Max Hayes. Right up the street there. Brief intermission. All right, back up and running. Just about a 30-second break. Riding in winter time can be challenging, figuring out the right clothing to wear. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you who are avid bike riders would be like, oh, I know exactly what to wear, but I don't have any like specialty clothing per se, so oh, sorry, the sun's gonna be right in our path for a bit. I think give it about 20 seconds. We're going to start turning toward the left, so that should clear that out. Yeah, I just wear fairly regular, normal winter clothing, which is great at first, but then when you start pumping those legs uphill, body like extra retains that heat and sweat. Hopefully my scarf wasn't flying in your guys' way. I just noticed it was right next to the camera for a second. So believe it or not, since I didn't drive for the longest time, I didn't realize that the speed limit at some point on the road to my right had been reduced to just 35 miles per hour. But then the actual main road that you see after that is Detroit Avenue. So that's what I'm saying. If you're riding Detroit Avenue to downtown versus this path, they're very similar in proximity to each other. Just this path, you get the luxury of no vehicle traffic, pretty much uninterrupted. Detroit honestly is not going to be that busy in the morning either. And it's more of a flat, straight shot, less up and down. Up here at the stop sign, we're going to make a right-hand turn underneath the bridge. Like I said, right at the green light there is Detroit Avenue. I'm going to again make a left-hand turn. And that will take me up to West 25th Street. And once I get to West 25th up here, if you kept going but made toward the left side, that would be the west bank of the flats, which I've done several videos showing parts of that area. If you go slightly to the right, it'll take you to the Detroit Superior Bridge that you want to actually go up into downtown Cleveland on. See if we can time this light up. Well, the crosswalk activator is not working. We'll use our judgment once the light ahead of us goes green, if there's no turning vehicles behind us. Yeah, we're clear behind us. And even though they get that, the only reason I didn't get the walk sign is because the sign wasn't activating, because there is no turn for them. It's just a straight green light. So in that circumstance, I still have the right of way. But of course you want to be aware of them, because if they're blindly turning into you, either I gotta speed up or I gotta stop. Our final hill. They do have these bike lanes marked off on the ground if you actually want to take the road portion of the bridge. But again, it's one of those circumstances where there's no vehicles up here. So I usually figure, why not just, it's much wider, why not just stay up here? Usually right where these benches are the peak of the hill. So it's all downhill from here. By the way, if you've heard that clanking noise throughout the ride at all and wondering what it is, that's just my bike lock that I have rattling a bit, especially when you get on. I mean, this is one of those things where it's smooth, but you got those ridges. So like for riding purposes, it's smooth. It just, you're going to hear that jangling. We have now entered into downtown Cleveland. It's obviously bright and early sunlight, so I'm still going to finish and conclude this video up at Public Square. But the Christmas lights might not be on at this point. We'll see. If you are interested in seeing those lights, I did film a couple of evening videos where a lot of people were out using the ice skating rink and walking around the square. Up ahead of us is the new Sherwin-Williams building. Although since I have the camera on the mode where it only shoots straight forward, right now you're just seeing the very bottom of it. Years ago that just would have been completely a surface parking lot only. Sherwin-Williams building slated to open late 2025. So it's nice that they've opened up more of the sidewalk here. We still have to go down into the street up ahead for rest of it. You see they're putting up some of the bollards. So it actually doesn't look too far away from them cementing that area as well. Oh, they want you to cross here, it looks like. So that's a change. They used to have it where you could continue walking all the way to the square. And yeah, none of the lights are on right now, except a little bit on the Christmas tree itself. But even that one, like the very top portion, looks like it's not functioning. That's where I'll go ahead and conclude this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this bike ride in winter, feel free to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And we will see you next time, everyone.